It often starts with something as innocent as a warm drink before bed, a soothing cup of what we believe is comfort. Maybe it's the cocoa that reminds you of your childhood. Maybe it's that fruit juice that feels healthy enough. Or maybe it's the small glass of wine that you tell yourself helps you sleep. The truth is, for millions of adults over 50, these nightly choices are quietly pushing their blood sugar levels higher than they've been all day. And most never realize it. They sleep through the spike, wake up feeling sluggish, heavy, and slightly irritable, without ever suspecting that their blood sugar was dancing dangerously through the night. This isn't about guilt. It's about awareness. Because your body, at this stage of life, doesn't process sugar the same way it once did. Your metabolism has slowed, your cells are more resistant, and your pancreas, the organ responsible for producing insulin, is working harder than ever just to keep things balanced. When you give it a sugary drink before bedtime, it's like asking a tired worker to do one last shift before sunrise. The result: glucose builds up in your bloodstream instead of being absorbed by your cells, leaving your blood sugar higher throughout the night. And the next morning, that spike lingers. You may think you slept poorly, but in truth, your body was struggling to bring itself back into balance. It's easy to underestimate the power of drinks. Most people focus on what they eat, cutting carbs, counting calories, skipping desserts. But what you drink can be even more deceptive, because drinks don't fill you up, you don't chew them. They slide down easily, often unnoticed. A glass of juice, a zero-sugar soda, a smoothie, each one can contain a flood of ingredients that the body converts rapidly into glucose. And when you're over 50, your body's ability to manage that sudden flood is diminished. The enzymes that once handled sugar efficiently are slower now. The muscles that used to absorb glucose for energy are less active, especially at night. And insulin, the hormone meant to keep blood sugar under control, often faces resistance, meaning it can't perform its job properly even if it's there in abundance. This combination turns an innocent bedtime drink into a biochemical trap. The most misleading part: many of these drinks are marketed as healthy. The word itself, healthy, has become a marketing weapon. 100% fruit juice, no added sugar, low fat, plant-based. The labels sound safe, even virtuous. But what matters isn't just what's added. It's what happens once the drink enters your bloodstream. Your liver doesn't distinguish between the sugar in a fruit and the sugar in candy when it processes glucose. It treats both the same way. So that pure orange juice or that trendy oat milk can cause your blood sugar to surge far more than you imagine, especially if it's consumed alone on an empty stomach or before bed. Let's pause and visualize what's happening inside your body after that evening drink. You pour a glass of something sweet, maybe a bit of juice, maybe flavored water, maybe a tea with honey. It feels light, refreshing, harmless. Within minutes, your stomach absorbs the liquid and sends the sugar into your bloodstream. Your blood sugar rises. Your pancreas releases insulin, hoping to escort the sugar into your cells for energy. But because it's nighttime, your cells aren't demanding much energy. They're preparing for rest. So the sugar lingers. The insulin keeps pushing. Eventually, some of that glucose is stored as fat, some circulates longer than it should, and some ends up causing oxidative stress, tiny molecular disturbances that inflame blood vessels, weaken capillary walls, and accelerate aging. It's like leaving your car engine running overnight. It doesn't explode, but it wears down faster. And here's something many people overlook. Sleep itself changes how your body handles sugar. Studies show that during the night, insulin sensitivity drops. That means your cells become less responsive to insulin. So, if you drink something sugary before bed, your body will have a harder time processing it than if you drank it in the morning. The glucose spike lasts longer, the pancreas works harder, and you spend hours unknowingly in a state of elevated blood sugar. Over time, that pattern contributes to what doctors call nocturnal hyperglycemia, a silent, overnight rise in blood sugar that often goes undetected in routine blood tests. People feel fine during the day, but their morning readings start creeping higher. They blame aging, stress, or poor sleep, when in reality, the culprit is sitting quietly in their kitchen cabinet. Even more concerning is how these nighttime spikes affect your organs beyond just blood sugar. High glucose at night disrupts your sleep cycles. It pushes your heart rate slightly higher, reduces deep sleep, and can cause you to wake up feeling unrested even after a full night's rest. Over weeks or months, this pattern contributes to fatigue, mood swings, and difficulty losing weight. For people over 50, that can quickly spiral into a frustrating loop. Feeling tired leads to more caffeine or sugar during the day, which leads to more imbalance at night, and the cycle continues. Imagine a calm night. Your room is dark, quiet, peaceful. You've done everything right, but inside your bloodstream, tiny battles are taking place. Glucose molecules float around aimlessly, unable to enter cells. Insulin hormones knock on cell doors that won't open. The liver tries to store excess sugar as glycogen, but soon reaches capacity, so it turns the overflow into fat, often depositing it around the liver itself, a condition known as fatty liver. Meanwhile, the heart and blood vessels endure the strain of higher glucose levels, making the blood thicker, stickier, and less efficient at transporting oxygen. It's all happening invisibly, silently, while you sleep. This is not to create fear, it's to awaken awareness. Because the solution is not to eliminate every drink you enjoy, but to understand what your body needs now at this stage of life. After 50, your metabolism shifts. You no longer need quick sugar for bursts of energy. You need slow, a steady fuel that supports stable blood sugar through the night. But modern food culture hasn't caught up to that truth. It still sells the same healthy drinks to everyone, regardless of age. It's your job now to become your own guardian, to question, to understand, to adjust. Because awareness is the first step toward prevention. The human body is remarkably adaptive. It can handle stress, sugar, and even periods of imbalance, up to a point. But there's a limit. After decades of exposure to refined sugar, alcohol, artificial sweeteners, and high-carb drinks, the body begins to lose its flexibility. The cells that once eagerly absorbed glucose start to resist it. That resistance, called insulin resistance, is the silent beginning of many metabolic issues. Prediabetes, diabetes, heart disease, even cognitive decline. And it's not the large obvious indulgences that cause it. It's the small daily habits repeated over time, the nightly juice, the sweetened tea, the flavored milk, the harmless soda. They seem minor, but the body remembers. It keeps score. One of the most overlooked aspects of sugar regulation is the liver's circadian rhythm. Yes, your liver has a biological clock. It performs different tasks depending on the time of day. At night, it prefers to detoxify and repair, not process large amounts of sugar. When you introduce a sugary drink before bed, you interrupt that natural cycle. Instead of cleaning, your liver must shift back into processing mode, metabolizing glucose and converting it into fat. Over time, this habit weakens its efficiency, leading to elevated fasting glucose, increased triglycerides, and sluggish energy. You may notice it as brain fog, morning fatigue, or difficulty concentrating after waking. And yet, we've been taught the opposite. We're told that a glass of warm milk or juice before bed is comforting, even good for sleep. In the past, maybe it was, but that advice was built on a younger metabolism. Today, the same drink can have a very different effect. The comforting warmth may remain, but inside it's chaos. For someone over 50, whose insulin sensitivity is already reduced by 30% or more, that glass of milk or sweet tea can lead to a blood sugar surge that lasts until dawn. And the next morning, when you check your glucose, it's still higher than normal. The pattern repeats night after night until it becomes your new normal. You don't feel sick, but you feel older, slower, less sharp. You assume it's age, but often it's simply sugar. The irony is that these drinks are often consumed with good intentions. You're trying to sleep better, to stay hydrated, to get your vitamins, but the industry knows that sweet sells. So even when they remove sugar, they replace it with other sweeteners, natural or artificial, that still affect your metabolism. Agave syrup, honey, stevia, maltodextrin, high fructose corn syrup, even fruit concentrates. All of them can raise insulin levels or alter your body's perception of sweetness. And the more your taste buds get used to sweetness, the more your brain craves it. Even subconsciously, It's a feedback loop that's hard to escape unless you consciously break it. If you've ever noticed waking up at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. with your heart beating slightly faster or your mind alert for no reason, there's a chance it's related to blood sugar fluctuation. When your glucose spikes after a sugary drink, insulin rushes in to compensate. Hours later, when glucose drops sharply, the body responds by releasing adrenaline and cortisol, stress hormones meant to stabilize blood sugar. That hormonal surge can wake you suddenly, leaving you restless and unable to return to deep sleep. Over time, these nocturnal imbalances wear down your adrenal system, increase inflammation, and accelerate biological aging. So, what feels like harmless hydration before bed may, in truth, be robbing you of your body's most regenerative state, restful sleep. The beauty of understanding this is that it's reversible. Awareness gives you control. Once you know what triggers these spikes, you can adjust your choices and reclaim balance. But before we talk about solutions, we must understand just how deceptive certain healthy drinks can be. Because this isn't only about soda or sugary coffee, it's about the beverages that disguise themselves as wellness allies: fruit smoothies, plant-based milks, energy drinks, vitamin waters. Each one hides its own biochemical twist, its own impact on your glucose curve. And for those over 50, where every system in the body is more sensitive, these effects multiply. For now, remember this: your body speaks through how you feel. The foggy mornings, the midday crashes, the sudden hunger before bed, they are whispers from your metabolism asking for balance. And it starts not with medication but with awareness. Tonight, before you reach for that harmless drink, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, is this helping my body rest or making it work overtime? That small moment of reflection can be the beginning of transformation. Because aging well isn't about restriction. It's about understanding. And the more you understand what your body needs now, the longer it will reward you with energy, clarity, and peace. You'd be surprised how many people over 50 unknowingly raise their blood sugar every single night without ever touching a dessert. It's not the cake, not the ice cream, not even the spoon of sugar in coffee that causes the most trouble. It's the innocent drinks, the ones that sneak beneath your radar because they're wrapped in the comforting language of health. A splash of fruit juice before bed, a glass of wine after dinner, a cup of sweet herbal tea meant to relax you. Each one feels small, each one feels harmless. But together they tell a deeper story, a story about how modern habits are out of sync with the biological rhythms of aging bodies. And that's where the hidden danger begins. Let's start with fruit juice. You see, fruit itself, when eaten whole, comes with fiber. That fiber slows down the absorption of sugar, allowing your body time to handle the glucose efficiently. But when you extract the juice, you remove that natural buffer. What's left is concentrated sugar water, stripped of the fiber that nature designed to protect you. When you drink it, glucose floods your bloodstream almost instantly. For someone over 50, whose insulin sensitivity is lower, that's like opening a floodgate that the body can't close quickly enough. The pancreas sends out a rush of insulin to manage the surge, but the cells, especially if they're insulin resistant, don't respond as they once did. So the sugar remains in circulation longer, clinging to red blood cells, damaging blood vessel walls, and feeding silent inflammation that continues long after you've gone to sleep. The same logic applies to natural smoothies. You may think, but I blended the whole fruit, not just the juice. And yes, that's better, but only to a degree. Because the act of blending breaks down the fiber into tiny fragments. It's no longer intact, no longer working as a true barrier. What this means is that the glucose still enters the bloodstream rapidly, causing similar spikes. The body can handle these during the day, when you're active and moving. But at night, when metabolism slows, these spikes linger longer. So the smoothie that felt like a vitamin boost may be silently raising your overnight glucose. Now consider something even more deceptive: oat milk. It's trendy, plant-based and marketed as heart-friendly. But very few people realize that oat milk contains maltose, a sugar with one of the highest glycemic indexes of all. That means it raises blood sugar faster than table sugar. Many brands also add extra sweeteners or thickeners to improve texture, further worsening the impact. So, If you're over 50 and using oat milk in your evening tea or as a healthy bedtime drink, you may be setting off a glucose surge without realizing it. And what about alcohol? A small glass of wine, a nightcap, a beer to unwind. We tell ourselves it helps us relax, and sometimes it does, temporarily, but the price comes later. Alcohol interferes with how the liver regulates blood sugar. During the night, your liver usually releases small amounts of glucose to keep your levels stable while you sleep. But when alcohol enters the equation, the liver prioritizes detoxifying the alcohol instead. It pauses glucose regulation. That means your blood sugar can fluctuate dramatically, spiking for some, dropping for others, and leaving you with unstable levels that interfere with deep sleep cycles. Many people wake up around 3 a.m. after drinking, unaware that it's the body struggling to rebalance its glucose. The danger isn't only in the sugar content, it's also in the timing. After 50, the body's circadian rhythms, which control how efficiently you process food, become more sensitive. Your metabolism isn't as active at night, so a drink that might be easily tolerated in the morning becomes problematic after sunset. This is why even a small serving of sweetened tea, juice, or milk before bed can have outsized effects. The body isn't prepared to digest or metabolize efficiently. It's preparing for rest, repair, and cell renewal. When you drink sugar-rich beverages late in the evening, you interrupt that process. The body spends hours working to stabilize glucose instead of focusing on regeneration. Over time, this translates into visible signs of accelerated aging: less energy, duller skin, slower metabolism, weight gain around the midsection, and poor sleep quality. But here's where it gets even more concerning. Many people believe they're doing everything right because they've switched from sugar to artificial sweeteners. Diet sodas, sugar-free drinks, flavored water with 0 calories, it all sounds like progress. Yet, science shows a different story. Artificial sweeteners like sucralose, aspartame, and even some natural ones like stevia can still trigger insulin release. The body tastes sweetness and anticipates sugar, prompting the pancreas to release insulin even if glucose isn't present. Over time, this can desensitize your system and worsen insulin resistance. Some studies also show that artificial sweeteners disrupt the gut microbiome, the ecosystem of bacteria that plays a vital role in blood sugar control and overall metabolism. When that balance is disturbed, glucose regulation becomes even harder. It's easy to think of all this as overwhelming, but understanding these patterns is liberating, because knowledge turns helplessness into strategy. You can't control aging, but you can control how gracefully you move through it. The first step is awareness, seeing what's really happening beneath the surface. For decades, we've been conditioned to trust labels, not our bodies. We see no added sugar and assume it's safe, but no added sugar doesn't mean no sugar. It means the product already contains naturally high sugar levels that didn't require more. A typical 8-ounce glass of orange juice, for example, contains roughly 24 grams of sugar, equivalent to 6 teaspoons. That's more than most desserts. And because it's liquid, it bypasses the body's satiety signals. You don't feel full, but your blood sugar spikes regardless. The tragedy is that these patterns go unnoticed until symptoms appear: fatigue, weight gain, blurry vision, frequent urination, mood swings. By then, the body has been quietly enduring nightly glucose swings for months or even years. It's not that people don't care, it's that they were never told the truth. They were told juice was healthy, milk was soothing, and wine was heart protective. But these truths were always incomplete. The context, the when, the how, the amount, was left out. And context is everything when it comes to blood sugar. Let's picture the chain reaction more closely. You finish dinner around 8 p.m. You're relaxed, maybe watching TV. Around 10 p.m., you pour a small glass of juice. You sip it slowly, feeling calm. By 10:15, your blood sugar begins to rise. By 10:30, insulin is released. By 11, the pancreas is still working, and your cells are struggling to respond. You fall asleep, but your body isn't resting, it's processing. At midnight, glucose remains elevated. At 2 a.m., the excess sugar triggers a hormonal response. Cortisol levels rise. Your heart beats slightly faster. You shift in bed without realizing why. By 4 a.m., your glucose begins to drop. The sudden fall wakes you briefly, but you drift back to light sleep. By morning you wake with mild inflammation, slight puffiness, a heavier feeling in your limbs, and less energy than you should have after 7 hours of rest. And all of this because of one small glass of juice. Now imagine this happening every night for months or years. The body adapts, but not in a good way. It begins to treat elevated glucose as normal. The pancreas keeps releasing more insulin to cope. The cells become even more resistant. The liver stores more fat. Inflammation increases. Blood vessels stiffen. And soon what started as a small nightly indulgence becomes part of a larger metabolic imbalance. This is how prediabetes and type 2 diabetes quietly take root. Not through extremes, but through repetition. The good news is that awareness can stop this progression at any stage. The moment you recognize how your body responds to certain drinks, you can start making changes. It begins with observing how you feel. If you wake up groggy despite good sleep, if your energy crashes mid-morning, or if your cravings spike late at night, these are early signs that your glucose balance is off. You can test this easily at home using a glucometer, or more precisely, a continuous glucose monitor. These tools reveal patterns that most people never see. You'll notice how even healthy drinks trigger spikes that last for hours. Once you see it, it's impossible to unsee. You begin to realize that your body is not betraying you. It's protecting you, sending signals that something small yet consistent needs to change. What's remarkable is how quickly the body responds once you make that change. Within days of eliminating sugary or high-carb drinks before bed, many people notice deeper sleep, more stable energy, and fewer morning aches. Within weeks, fasting glucose levels start to drop, and the mind feels clearer. It's not magic, it's biology returning to balance. Because the body's natural state is equilibrium. It just needs fewer obstacles. But let's not underestimate the emotional side of this journey. For many, these nightly drinks represent comfort, a ritual, a way to end the day with something pleasant. And taking that away can feel like losing a friend. That's why the goal isn't deprivation, it's substitution. Replacing harmful habits with nurturing ones that honor both body and mind. Herbal teas without added sweeteners. Warm water with lemon. A gentle infusion of cinnamon or chamomile. These not only satisfy the ritual but actively support metabolism. Cinnamon, for instance, improves insulin sensitivity and stabilizes blood sugar levels. Chamomile soothes the nervous system, helping you sleep more deeply. These choices send your body a different message, one of care, not challenge. The truth is, managing blood sugar after 50 isn't about perfection. It's about awareness, about knowing that every drink, every small choice, either helps your body rest or makes it work harder. You don't have to live in fear of what you drink. You simply need to live in harmony with your body's needs as they evolve. Because the same body that once thrived on sugar can thrive again on balance. You just have to listen. And this awareness extends beyond nighttime habits. Morning routines matter too. Many people wake up and reach for orange juice, believing it's a healthy way to start the day. But after fasting all night, your glucose levels are at their lowest and most sensitive. Flooding the system with sugar immediately sends levels skyrocketing. It's far better to begin the day with hydration, water, mineral water, or tea, and let your body ease into activity before introducing carbs. The same principle applies to evening hydration. Aim for calm, steady drinks that don't disturb your natural rhythms. At its heart, this conversation isn't about fear, it's about respect. Respect for the body's complexity, for the years it has carried you, and for the signals it sends. When you understand those signals, you no longer see them as problems but as guidance. Fatigue becomes a whisper to rest better. Cravings become a clue about imbalance. Morning grogginess becomes a teacher showing what needs to change. And all of it begins with something as simple as what's in your glass. As you sit tonight with your drink, perhaps this time, pause for a moment before taking that first sip. Look at it not as a treat, but as a message to your body. Ask yourself what message you're sending. Is it one of nourishment or one of stress? Is it a gift of rest or a test of endurance? That quiet reflection, done once, done daily, can change everything. Because the secret to stable blood sugar isn't hidden in complicated diets or expensive supplements. It lies in simple awareness, in the gentle choices that add up over time. And when you make those choices consistently, something extraordinary happens. Your body begins to trust you again. That trust is the foundation of vitality after 50. When your body knows it won't be flooded with sugar overnight, it rests deeper. When your pancreas knows it won't have to work overtime, it repairs itself. When your cells feel safe from constant glucose surges, they regain sensitivity. It's a cycle of healing that starts not with medicine but with mindfulness. So the next time someone says, "Just a drink before bed won't hurt," smile, because you know the truth now. You know that what feels small can have profound effects. You know that every choice carries energy, some that drain you, others that restore you. And now, with awareness as your ally, you can begin to choose the latter. Because age doesn't take vitality away, habits do, and the right ones can give it back, one mindful sip at a time. Picture your body as a symphony, every organ, every cell, every hormone moving in perfect rhythm. For most of your life, that symphony played beautifully, adapting to late dinners, sweet drinks, stress and recovery without much trouble. But after 50, the instruments begin to sound different. The tempo slows. The harmony requires more attention. What once felt effortless, digestion, energy, sleep, now demands precision. This is not weakness, it's wisdom written into biology. Your body is asking you to listen more carefully, to conduct differently, and nowhere is that request more urgent than in how it handles sugar, especially from the drinks we consume without thought. Let's explore what actually happens inside your body when you drink something that raises your blood sugar overnight. The story begins in the bloodstream. As soon as you swallow that sweet tea, that fruit juice, or that flavored milk, enzymes in your saliva and gut break the carbohydrates down into glucose molecules. These molecules enter your blood within minutes, causing an immediate rise in blood sugar. For someone in their 20s, this rise triggers an efficient cascade. Insulin is released, glucose enters cells, and the spike falls quickly. But after 50, the same system operates with subtle friction. The pancreas still releases insulin, but the cells, especially muscle and liver cells, don't respond as eagerly. They've become desensitized over years of exposure to high sugar and high insulin. It's like knocking on a door that used to open instantly, but now takes several knocks to get a response. This delay means glucose lingers in the bloodstream longer, and the pancreas keeps releasing insulin in an effort to bring it down. The prolonged exposure to both high glucose and high insulin creates an environment of oxidative stress, tiny chemical reactions that damage tissues. Blood vessels become irritated, inflamed. The lining of arteries stiffens, making it harder for blood to flow smoothly. That stiffness over time contributes to higher blood pressure, lower circulation to extremities, and an increased workload for the heart. All of this triggered by what felt like a small, harmless drink before bed. But the story doesn't end there. When you lie down to sleep, your body transitions into repair mode. Growth hormone is released, tissues regenerate. The brain clears out waste through the glymphatic system. These processes require stability, stable blood sugar, stable hormones, stable energy flow. Yet a nighttime glucose spike disrupts this entire orchestration. The body shifts from repair to regulation, trying to manage the excess sugar instead of healing. Insulin remains elevated, which suppresses growth hormone, meaning your body repairs less efficiently. The result is that you wake up physically tired, even after what seemed like a full night's rest. Think of how many people over 50 complain about poor sleep, fatigue, and difficulty recovering from small exertions. They often blame aging itself, but in many cases it's this biochemical disturbance stealing their rest from within. And because it's silent, no pain, no obvious symptom, it goes unnoticed. But the consequences accumulate. High nighttime glucose not only affects sleep quality, it also affects brain health. Elevated glucose increases the production of advanced glycation end products, or AGEs, molecules that bind to proteins and interfere with their function. In the brain, these AGEs can contribute to slower cognition, memory lapses, and increased risk of neurodegenerative conditions like Alzheimer's. It's remarkable how one simple nightly habit can ripple through so many systems. The pancreas, the liver, the brain, the heart, they all participate in this dance of regulation. And when one falls out of rhythm, the rest follow. Consider the liver again. Its role at night is vital. It stores glucose during the day and releases it slowly while you sleep to keep your energy steady. But when you drink something sugary before bed, the liver becomes overloaded. It tries to store the excess glucose as glycogen, but once storage is full, it converts the remainder into fat. Over time, this process contributes to fatty liver, which further reduces your metabolic flexibility. That term, metabolic flexibility, is key. It means your body's ability to switch between burning sugar and burning fat for fuel. When you're metabolically flexible, your energy stays stable regardless of what or when you eat. But when that flexibility is lost, usually from years of glucose overload, you become trapped in a cycle of spikes and crashes. You wake up tired, crave sugar for energy, drink something sweet, spike again, crash again. Each repetition deepens insulin resistance, like grooves carved deeper into the same path. It's no wonder so many adults over 50 feel like they're running on empty despite eating and drinking normally. And yet the beauty of biology is that it always leans toward healing. The body never stops trying to restore balance. It just needs less interference. The first step toward reclaiming that balance is awareness of the drinks that interfere most. Sweet coffee drinks with flavored syrups, herbal teas laced with honey, flavored waters enhanced with fruit concentrate, smoothies that combine fruit, milk, and protein powder, sports drinks marketed as electrolyte rehydration. Even those labeled organic or natural can contain high sugar loads that confuse your metabolism at night. But let's also talk about a lesser-known villain, caffeine. You might assume caffeine only affects sleep, but it also impacts blood sugar. Caffeine increases cortisol levels, and cortisol promotes glucose release from the liver. So, even a small cup of tea or decaf coffee at night can subtly raise your blood sugar. Combined with sweeteners or milk, the effect multiplies. For some, it's enough to keep glucose elevated for hours, preventing the body from fully entering deep sleep cycles. Now imagine the cumulative effect of these small disruptions night after night. Your pancreas begins to fatigue. Your cells become less responsive. Your liver accumulates fat. Your cortisol rhythm shifts. You start waking earlier, feeling restless. You gain a few pounds around your abdomen. You feel less energetic. None of these changes happen suddenly. They unfold quietly, gradually, until one day you realize you're not recovering like you used to. And often it starts with what's in your cup. Science has a term for this cascade, postprandial hyperglycemia, meaning elevated blood sugar after eating or drinking. When it happens at night, it becomes even more dangerous because you're unaware. During sleep, you can't feel your heart rate rising or your glucose fluctuating. You can't feel your body working overtime. But that silent work steals from your reserves. It uses up nutrients, antioxidants, and hormones meant for restoration. The result is accelerated cellular aging. It's why people who experience frequent glucose spikes often look and feel older than their years. Yet this is not a message of fear. It's one of hope. Because just as small mistakes compound over time, so do small corrections. A single night of stable blood sugar can improve next-day focus. A week of balance can deepen sleep quality. A month of awareness can lower fasting glucose and reduce cravings. Over time, these small victories rebuild the trust between your body and your metabolism. And when that trust is restored, you begin to feel younger. Not because you reversed time, but because you removed the hidden weight your body carried. To truly grasp how transformative this can be, imagine a night where everything flows right. You skip the sugary drink and opt for something simple. Warm water with lemon or cinnamon. Your glucose remains stable. Insulin stays low. Your liver continues its natural rhythm of detoxification and energy regulation. Your heart rate slows. Growth hormone peaks. The brain clears out metabolic waste, reducing future risk of memory decline. By morning, your body feels lighter, your mind clearer, your energy steadier. That is what happens when the internal symphony plays in tune again. But to reach that point, we must confront the illusions that keep us stuck. One of the strongest illusions is that sugar is only harmful in large amounts. In truth, the body responds to every gram, every sip. Over 50, your margin for error shrinks because your muscle mass is lower, your liver capacity smaller, and your hormone balance more fragile. What was once no big deal becomes cumulative stress. Another illusion is that exercise cancels out sugar. While activity helps regulate blood sugar, it can't undo nightly spikes during sleep when your metabolism is slowest. You can't outwalk or outlift a nighttime glucose surge. Prevention, not compensation, is the key. Then there's the illusion that natural equals safe. Honey, agave, coconut sugar all sound better than white sugar. And they do contain trace minerals, but metabolically they act the same. They raise blood sugar, trigger insulin, and disrupt nighttime balance. The difference is psychological. We feel good using them, so we underestimate their impact. The body, however, keeps its own honest record. It measures every molecule, every spike, every moment of imbalance. You might be wondering now, if these drinks are so disruptive, why doesn't everyone experience obvious symptoms? The answer lies in thresholds. Each person's body has a different tolerance for imbalance. Some can endure years of nightly sugar without overt diabetes, but still suffer from fatigue, inflammation, or poor sleep. Others feel the effects within weeks. Genetics, lifestyle, and stress all shape your threshold, but regardless of when symptoms appear, the internal mechanism is the same. Every glucose spike contributes to microscopic wear, tiny injuries that accumulate until the system falters. Understanding this transforms how you see your choices. You realize that every drink is either adding to wear or aiding repair. It's no longer about restriction, it's about decision-making, about choosing clarity over confusion, stability over stimulation, peace over pleasure. That doesn't mean giving up sweetness forever. It means reserving it for the moments that matter, when your body can handle it, when your metabolism is active, when it enhances life rather than drains it. And perhaps most importantly, you begin to see how intimately connected your emotional life is to your metabolic one. Stress raises cortisol, which raises glucose. Poor sleep raises hunger hormones, which increase cravings. Emotional eating often begins with fatigue. It's all one ecosystem. That's why changing your nighttime drink isn't a small act. It's symbolic. It's a declaration that you're choosing alignment between mind and body. Awareness over autopilot. The journey of health after 50 is less about fighting aging and more about cooperating with it. It's about understanding that your body's needs have evolved, and honoring those needs brings peace instead of frustration. When you choose drinks that stabilize rather than spike, you're not just protecting your blood sugar, you're protecting your energy, your mood, your focus, your future. Because stable glucose isn't just about avoiding diabetes, it's about preserving vitality, the quiet strength that makes every day feel lighter. And once you experience that steadiness, you'll never want to go back. The comfort of sugar fades quickly. The comfort of balance lasts. It reflects in your mornings, in your patience, in the calm of your heart. It's the kind of change no one sees at first, but everyone notices later. The truth is, most people think they need motivation to start. But what they need is realization. Realizing how much better life feels when your body isn't fighting hidden battles. Realizing that your energy, your clarity, your calm, they were never lost. They were just buried under patterns that no longer serve you. And as soon as you stop feeding those patterns, everything begins to rise again, slowly, quietly, like morning light spreading across a calm horizon. That is the hidden power of changing one simple habit. One choice tonight can change how you feel tomorrow. And from that single day, a new pattern can emerge, one built not on restriction, but on respect. There is something deeply human about ritual. The evening drink, the small comfort before bed, it's more than a beverage. It's a signal to the brain that the day is over, that rest is near, that it's time to exhale. But as we age, what once soothed the mind can start to sabotage the body. That ritual, that moment of calm, can become a quiet thief of energy and health. Yet, it doesn't have to be. Because when you understand what your body truly needs after 50, you can transform that ritual into something that restores instead of depletes. The key lies not in denial, but in intelligent substitution, in turning every comforting act into a healing one. Let's return to the scene of your evening. The kitchen light is soft, the house is quiet. You open the fridge or the cupboard looking for that familiar drink. Maybe it's orange juice, maybe hot chocolate, maybe milk, maybe something with honey. You pour it, stir it, feel its warmth in your hands. But this time, instead of drinking on autopilot, you pause. You think about what happens next, how that liquid will travel through your body, how your bloodstream will react, how your organs will respond. You begin to see the connection between that simple choice and the way you'll feel when you wake up tomorrow. That awareness is powerful, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. You begin to crave not sweetness, but stability. And that's where real transformation begins, when the desire for long-term vitality outweighs the desire for short-term comfort. It's not about giving up joy. It's about redefining it. You realize that true comfort doesn't come from sugar or alcohol or milk. It comes from peace within your body. It comes from waking up clear-headed, feeling light, feeling calm. That's the kind of satisfaction that no sweet drink can match. So what does the body actually want in those hours before bed? The answer is simpler than most realize. Hydration without sugar, warmth without calories, minerals that support rest, not disrupt it. The human body after 50 craves balance more than anything. Electrolytes, not stimulants. Calm, not glucose. That's why certain drinks, when chosen wisely, can actually help stabilize blood sugar and promote restful sleep. Take warm water with a pinch of cinnamon. Cinnamon, especially Ceylon cinnamon, helps improve insulin sensitivity. It allows your cells to respond more efficiently to the insulin already in your body, helping to lower glucose naturally. The warmth of the drink soothes digestion and relaxes muscles, preparing your body for rest. It's the opposite of a sugar spike. It's a gentle descent into balance. Or consider herbal teas like chamomile, lemon balm, or rooibos. Chamomile has been shown to not only calm the nervous system, but also modestly reduce fasting blood sugar when consumed regularly. Lemon balm helps reduce cortisol levels, which in turn lowers nighttime glucose fluctuations. Rooibos, caffeine-free and rich in antioxidants, supports liver function, allowing it to perform its nighttime detoxification more efficiently. When you replace sugary drinks with these herbal infusions, you're not depriving yourself. You're upgrading your nightly ritual to one that actually aligns with what your body needs now. Another powerful yet simple choice is mineral water with a few drops of magnesium. Magnesium is the forgotten mineral of modern life. It regulates over 300 biochemical reactions in the body, including insulin activity and glucose metabolism. Most adults over 50 are deficient in it without realizing. That deficiency increases insulin resistance and disturbs sleep. A small dose before bed, whether through a supplement or dissolved magnesium citrate in water, can calm the nervous system and support steady blood sugar overnight. If you prefer something with flavor, try infusing your water with cinnamon sticks, cloves, or a slice of lemon peel. These ingredients contain compounds that support digestion and slow glucose absorption. The beauty of this practice is not just in the physiological benefits, it's in the ritual itself. You're still ending your day with intention, still holding something warm or refreshing, still signaling rest. But now, that ritual serves you instead of sabotaging you. This shift from sugary comfort to mindful nourishment is more than a dietary change. It's a mindset transformation. It's moving from reaction to reflection, from habit to harmony. Because when you begin to treat your body as a partner instead of a project, you stop fighting against it. You stop resenting aging and start working with it. You realize that your body's signals, fatigue, cravings, restlessness, aren't punishments. They're communication. They're messages saying, I need gentler fuel. I need quieter energy. I need you to slow down with me. The irony is that slowing down is exactly what leads to greater strength. When your body isn't constantly working overtime to manage glucose, it can invest energy elsewhere, into repair, into regeneration, into building resilience. You begin to notice it in subtle ways first. You wake up less puffy. Your mind feels more present. Your mood stabilizes. You no longer crave sugar as much because your body no longer swings between extremes. Your system finds its rhythm again, like a song it almost forgot how to play. This is the phase of relief, the moment in your journey where understanding becomes freedom. You don't fear drinks anymore. You simply choose with awareness. You begin to question labels, not because you're paranoid, but because you're empowered. You start seeing through marketing phrases like low-fat, natural, or fortified. You know now that what matters most isn't what's promised on the package, but how it performs in your body. You start reading ingredient lists differently, not as a chore, but as a form of self-respect. Every time you skip a sugary drink, it's not deprivation, it's an act of alignment with your future self. And this relief extends beyond your physical state. When your blood sugar stabilizes, your emotions do too. You no longer ride the roller coaster of highs and crashes. You find yourself reacting more calmly to life. Your patience grows, your focus deepens. You begin to feel like yourself again, the self beneath the fog, the one who moves through the world with steadiness and grace. That is the hidden benefit of blood sugar balance. It's not just metabolic, it's emotional. It's also social, because the moment you make these changes, people notice. They see the difference even before you speak it. They comment on your energy, your clarity, your glow. They ask what you're doing differently, and when you tell them, it often surprises them. They expect a new diet or workout routine, not, "I just stopped drinking sweet things before bed." But that's the beauty of simplicity. It defies expectation. You realize how much of health isn't about doing more, it's about doing less, but with precision. Still, there will be nights when temptation returns, when the memory of that warm cocoa or that glass of wine calls to you, and that's okay, you're human. Change is not perfection, it's awareness. On those nights, the choice is not between success and failure, but between consciousness and unconsciousness. If you choose the drink, do it mindfully. Sit with it. Feel what it does to you. Notice your heartbeat, your sleep, your mood the next morning. That awareness will teach you more than any lecture, because the body always tells the truth, and when you do return to your healthier ritual, you'll appreciate it even more. You'll realize how much lighter you feel when your choices align with your biology. You'll begin to understand that vitality isn't a mystery. It's the natural result of cooperation between mind and body. You give your body what it needs, and it rewards you in ways you can feel, see, and live. For those over 50, the impact of this awareness extends far beyond one night's sleep. Stable blood sugar protects your heart, your brain, your eyes, your nerves. It slows the aging of your arteries, keeps your metabolism active, and preserves your memory. It even supports your mood because blood sugar swings are closely tied to anxiety and irritability. When you master this one aspect, nighttime glucose, you create a foundation for every other system in your body to function better. It's like tuning the engine before a long journey. Everything runs smoother afterward. You'll also notice a change in your relationship with hunger. Stable blood sugar means fewer nighttime cravings. You no longer feel compelled to snack after dinner. Your body begins to trust that it will receive steady nourishment, so it no longer sends frantic signals of urgency. That trust is transformative. It creates peace within, the kind that radiates into every other part of your life. Even your mornings change. Without glucose surges at night, you wake up with steadier energy. Your fasting blood sugar gradually lowers. Your mental clarity returns faster. Coffee becomes a choice, not a crutch. You feel balanced before the day even begins. That's not magic, it's biology in balance. In many ways, this phase, the relief phase, is where knowledge becomes wisdom. You've seen the danger, you've understood the mechanism, and now you've experienced the solution. From here, every decision feels lighter because it comes from understanding, not fear. You no longer drink something because someone told you it's healthy. You drink it because you've learned how your body truly responds. And that shift, from external advice to internal awareness, is what defines health after 50. Because true health isn't about following every trend or eliminating every indulgence. It's about knowing what nourishes you. It's about being honest with your body, listening to its feedback and acting with respect. And when you do that consistently, the results are not just physical, they're emotional, mental, and even spiritual. You feel whole again, you feel in tune. And that, in essence, is what the Silver Vitals philosophy stands for. It's not about scaring people into compliance. It's about guiding them back to awareness. It's about transforming confusion into clarity, fear into control, aging into wisdom. Every choice you make after understanding this truth becomes a vote for your longevity, a vote for your calm, a vote for the version of yourself who wakes up each morning with energy that feels effortless and peace that feels earned. So tonight, when you walk into the kitchen, let it be a different kind of ritual. Turn on the soft light. Fill your cup with something that truly serves you, something warm, calm, and kind. And as you sip it, know that you're not just ending another day. You're quietly rewriting your body's story, one mindful night at a time. There's a quiet strength that comes when you finally understand your body. It's not loud, not dramatic, but steady, like a river that knows its direction. After 50, that kind of strength becomes your greatest ally. Because this stage of life isn't about chasing youth, it's about mastering balance. The truth is, most people never learn how their metabolism truly changes with time. They keep drinking, eating, and living as they did in their 30s, believing nothing's changed. But the body changes first, then whispers. If you don't listen, it starts to shout. The fatigue, the fog, the restless sleep, those are its messages. And when you answer them with awareness instead of denial, something profound happens. You begin to age gracefully, powerfully, intentionally. Let's step into that vision together. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and your body feels lighter. Not because you lost weight, but because it's no longer fighting invisible battles. Your blood sugar stayed stable through the night. Your heart didn't have to race to correct imbalances. Your pancreas wasn't forced into emergency mode. You simply rested as your body repaired. That's the quiet miracle of stability. It's what allows your cells to renew efficiently, your liver to detoxify calmly, your brain to cleanse itself of toxins, and your heart to beat in rhythm instead of reaction. Most people think youth is lost with age, but in truth it's lost with imbalance. Restore the rhythm, and vitality follows naturally. Blood sugar isn't just a number, it's a language. It tells you how your body is handling stress, food, rest, and time. When that number fluctuates wildly, your internal harmony breaks. Hormones misfire. Inflammation rises. Fatigue takes over. But when it steadies, everything else steadies with it. Your moods, your focus, your cravings, all of it begins to fall into place. It's like tuning the strings of an instrument. When one string is out of tune, the entire melody suffers. But when it's right, even silence sounds beautiful. At this stage, your journey isn't just about avoiding harm. It's about cultivating peace. Because the truth is, sugar is not the enemy. Ignorance is. The lack of understanding about what your body truly needs after 50 is what causes suffering. Once you see clearly, there's no need for guilt, no need for restriction, no need for perfection. You move from resistance to rhythm. You start to make choices that feel natural, not forced. And this is where empowerment begins. You no longer fear drinks, food, or cravings. You begin to read your body like a familiar book. You notice the signals before they become symptoms. You sense when your energy dips, and you know why. You know when your heart beats faster, when your sleep feels shallow, when your cravings appear, and you know how to respond. That's what mastery feels like. It's not about control in the rigid sense. It's about alignment. Control is effort. Alignment is peace. Let's talk about what long-term balance really means for your health. Stable blood sugar doesn't just prevent diabetes. It protects your brain from decline. It shields your heart from stress. It slows the formation of plaque in your arteries. It keeps your kidneys safe from overload. It strengthens your immune system because high glucose weakens white blood cells. It even supports collagen production, preserving your skin's elasticity and slowing visible aging. Every part of your body benefits when sugar stops fluctuating wildly. That's why doctors say glucose stability is one of the most powerful predictors of longevity. But longevity is more than years. It's quality. It's waking up without stiffness. It's being able to move, think, and laugh without feeling drained. It's remembering your loved ones' faces clearly, feeling focused in conversations, walking with confidence, sleeping deeply. It's the small things, the quiet joys, that depend on how well your body manages energy. And energy begins with glucose. For most people over 50, the goal isn't perfection, it's rhythm. You don't have to avoid all sweetness. You simply have to time it better. Your body processes sugar most efficiently during the day when you're active. That's when muscles are ready to absorb glucose and convert it into energy. In the evening, your body prefers rest. So, instead of ending the day with sugar, begin it with movement. A morning walk, a stretch, a few deep breaths before breakfast. These small acts awaken your metabolism and make your cells more receptive to insulin. That means when you do enjoy natural sugars, your body uses them wisely instead of storing them. Awareness also helps you see that hydration plays a larger role than most realize. Dehydration thickens your blood and raises glucose levels. Many people mistake thirst for hunger, especially at night. The next time you feel the urge for a sweet drink before bed, try water first. Add a hint of lemon or cucumber. Let your body adjust. Often, that craving fades because it was never about sugar. It was about fluid balance. When your cells are hydrated, they communicate better and everything functions more smoothly. The power of awareness doesn't end in the kitchen. It extends into your daily rhythm. The more you align your habits with your body's natural clock, the more effortlessly you stabilize glucose. Eat during daylight hours. Let your last meal be lighter and earlier. Give your body 2 to 3 hours between eating and sleeping. These simple changes have enormous effects. Studies show that eating late can raise overnight glucose by up to 30%, even if you eat the same food as earlier in the day. The difference isn't the food, it's the timing. Think about that for a moment. The same meal can either nourish or disrupt, depending on when you consume it. That's how finely tuned your body's clock is. The older we get, the more that rhythm matters. Respecting it is an act of self-kindness, not sacrifice. You begin to see food and drink as tools, not temptations. You no longer chase instant gratification because you've tasted something deeper, lasting energy, clear mornings, steady moods. Once you feel that, sugar loses its hold. Now there's one more aspect to understand before we close this journey: how emotional health ties directly to blood sugar. Emotional stress raises cortisol, and cortisol raises glucose. That means even without drinking something sweet, you can experience a blood sugar spike simply from stress or anxiety. This is why many people crave sweets when they're tense. Their body is already flooded with glucose, and the mind seeks comfort to balance the chemistry. But there's a better way. When you manage stress through breathing, mindfulness, or calm evening routines, you reduce cortisol naturally. And when cortisol lowers, glucose follows. That's why the most powerful evening ritual isn't just what you drink, it's what you feel. So imagine a new kind of ritual. The night is quiet. You dim the lights. You brew a cup of chamomile tea, maybe with a touch of cinnamon. You sit near the window, feeling the cool air. You take slow breaths, 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out. Each exhale tells your body, it's safe now. You sip slowly. Your heart rate drops. Your muscles soften. Inside, your glucose remains steady. Your body enters the natural rhythm of rest. This is not just self-care, it's self-respect. You are no longer reacting to habit, you are responding to wisdom. As you continue this practice, you'll notice something subtle but powerful. Your relationship with your body begins to shift from frustration to gratitude. Instead of seeing it as something that betrays you, you see it as something that protects you. Every symptom, every craving, every sleepless night was never punishment. It was guidance. The moment you start listening, your body starts healing. That's the foundation of empowerment, and the ripple effects of this empowerment go far beyond health. When your body is balanced, your mind becomes sharper. Your emotions become more stable. You find it easier to focus, to be present, to connect with others. You stop chasing energy through caffeine and sugar because your energy now comes from within. That's a rare peace, a kind of maturity that radiates calm confidence. People feel it in your presence, they see it in your eyes. Aging then becomes not something to fear, but something to master. Because every year gives you more data, more feedback, more understanding. The mistakes of the past stop being regrets and become lessons. You begin to see that the body's whispers were never trying to shame you. They were trying to teach you. And now, finally, you're fluent in its language. So tonight, as you stand in your kitchen once more, perhaps you'll remember everything you've learned. You'll reach for the glass that truly serves you. You'll feel proud of that small, quiet act, because you know what it represents. It represents the moment you took your health back from habit, the moment you chose awareness over autopilot, the moment you decided that the second half of your life would be defined not by decline, but by discipline, not by fear, but by flow. And when you wake tomorrow, you'll feel the difference. It may be small at first, a lighter step, a clearer head, a calmer morning, but it will grow, because every day you honor your body, it responds in kind. Energy becomes easier, rest becomes deeper, focus becomes sharper. The chain of cause and effect that once pulled you down now lifts you up. That is the true meaning of vitality, not perfection, not youth, but balance. The ability to move through time with grace, to live in harmony with the body you've been given, to find strength in simplicity. It begins not with grand gestures, but with quiet decisions, like what you choose to drink tonight. You are not too late to change. The body forgives quickly when treated with care. Within weeks of stable nights, glucose levels normalize. Within months, inflammation markers drop. Within a year, the risk of metabolic disease declines dramatically. Every cell in your body is listening, and every night you choose awareness, you're giving those cells permission to heal. So remember this, the greatest medicine often isn't found in a pill, but in a pause, the pause before the sip, the pause before the habit, the pause in which you ask yourself, is this helping me heal? That moment of reflection, small, silent, sacred, is where transformation begins, because your health was never stolen, it was simply waiting for your attention. And now, you've given it. You've learned what so few ever do, that the path to longevity is not made of restrictions, but of respect. Respect for your body's timing. Respect for your biology. Respect for the quiet intelligence within you that has always known what to do, once you slowed down enough to listen. And that is how you win the night, not by fighting it, not by fearing it, but by harmonizing with it. One drink, one choice, one peaceful evening at a time. You've turned awareness into wisdom, fear into clarity, habit into healing. This is how lasting health begins and how it never ends.